job done. That's an extraordinary achievement, because you can hold George Bush's feet to the fire and all you'll get is crisp toes. You aren't going to get any policy out of it. So you made the big change that's the hardest change, and now we've just got to work every single day and make this a success. And I think we can do that. But you can't do it without good people, and you can't do it. And the last thing I want to say is this. I just met with a college Democrat at the University of New Mexico, and they're asking what college Democrats and Democratic committees in general always ask, which is how can we get people interested, how can we get more people coming to the meetings, and so forth and so on. And there are 3 pieces of advice I give them, which I'll share with you. The first is, it's easy if you have a candidate that everybody knows something about, is always in the newspapers and so forth. So when the governor's race starts to get really hot, you're going to get people coming out. And when the congressional races and so forth get hot. That's number 1. Number 2, there are a lot of down ballot races which are really important. And if the candidates take the time to spend significant amounts of time on campus with students, that's how you can do it. When you know somebody, this is a terrible thing to have to admit. I worked really hard for Joe Lieberman when I was at Yale, because at that time he ran as a progressive running for the state senate in Connecticut. Well, now we know better. If only I could take that back, but if you want to turn on people, knowing them personally, the mayor knows this, people will come out and work hard for you if you pay attention to them and you let them know who you are and you're open with them. So that's the local candidate who's willing to spend time with folks, energizes people. And the last is, and I don't necessarily recommend this for the Democratic Party in New Mexico because you've got plenty to do without this, but I do recommend it for smaller local groups who are trying to build a party. Do something together that doesn't have anything to do with politics, or doesn't have much obvious to do with politics. One of the things we did when I was running for president in Iowa, after all the doors were knocked on, we used to get people together with t-shirts on that said Dean for America or something like that, and their job was not to go out and knock on doors, it was to clean up streams, or to go to food shelves and stock the shelves and solicit donations, or to help teachers who didn't have enough money to have school supplies and were having to dig into their own pocket. They'd go raise money and raise school supplies. Now that helps the community, and it draws attention and gets people pulled into something they may believe in. You know, we're of course all transfixed with politics, or we wouldn't be in this room. Not everybody is like that. You may even have somebody in your family who's not as transfixed as you are, right? But there are, except for this family over here. But there are a lot of Americans of all ages who just aren't as interested in politics as we are, but they are interested in their communities. And one thing, I'll never forget that Sarah Palin, who when she was nominated for vice president, making fun of community activists. She was making fun of ordinary Americans. You're a community activist if you're on the library board. You're a community activist if you work for Habitat Humanity building houses for somebody. You're a community activist if you work with your church or your synagogue or your mosque to make life better for some people who aren't so fortunate. You're a community activist if you're a student. You go work in a nursing home. You're a community activist if you work in America. You're a community activist if you teach school someplace. There are a lot of ways to be a community activist. And the intersection of politics and community activism cannot be underestimated. It is one and the same. It's about resource allocation and building a better world. And that is what motivates people under 35 years old. They are tired of divisive issues. They are tired of the Washington politics. They are ready to take over. They've elected a president. Now they're going to start filling slots all over from the bottom up, and they're going to change the course of America. And it's going to be reaching out together to work with people despite our differences instead of pointing at our differences first. Our generation achieved a lot. We stopped the Vietnam War. We began a huge assault on